Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Late Night on Base. I am your host, your friend, your confidant, Bill, back at it. Starting my new stream up and running. You guys are stuck with me every Monday through Thursday at noon PST. I will be live. I will be live talking about literally what's going on every day of the week, the latest and the greatest. We explain AI, consumer apps, and on-chain culture so normal people actually get it. But we also talk about what's going on in the macro environment to kind of understand what it means for your money. Because, we're all here to make that bag. Whether you're a builder, you want to make a bag. Whether you're a developer, you want to make that bag. Whether you're a trader who clicks buttons, you want to make that bag. And, macro events are important to understand, when things are risk on, things are risk off. And like I said, everyone here is a builder. We're in a consumer AI era. So I want to shine the light on people building in AI. But macro is important because without the right conditions, doesn't matter how good your product is, you are going to be basically in quicksand. So today's show, we're going to talk about a bunch of things. If you guys don't know, I have an executive producer. His name is Teddy, and he's not real. He's an AI agent. So on today's show, let's actually see what he said we're talking about. I basically just follow whatever he tells me to. Kind of like his little bitch. Just kidding. He works for me, bro. So let's see. What are we doing today? We'll be on for about an hour. And if you guys want to, type anything in the comments, please do. Love to hear from you all. So today's show, Bitcoin dropped from 70K to 68K this morning as Trump posted a whole civilization will die tonight. OpenAI dropped a job disruption policy paper. The same week receipts came out with Altman lying to his board, and the smartest Bitcoin miners are quietly becoming AI infrastructure companies. On today's show, we break it all down. All right, Teddy. Well, I guess that's what we're going to talk about. And also today, we're going to be having Naam on. I'm really excited to have him on because he basically indicates what it means to be a builder using AI tools. Yesterday, we had AZ Flynn on. If you guys didn't watch the episode, go to YouTube. YouTube is going to be my home where all my previous episodes are every stream is going to live. But yeah, so AZ showed what it means to use AI in gaming. And he's created a top game right now on Base that's gotten a lot of interest. And today we have Naam on, and he's going to be talking about his consumer app. So let's check it out. So real quick, though, before, obviously, we're not going to get too political. The show isn't as political as some others. Regardless of your stance, the macro environment is fickle. Let's see real quick, Trading View. And this is something where, if you're a crypto investor, if you're an AI builder, this is what it comes down to. Let's see. Really comes down to this. And it's very funny. Above this line, above 69.3, the bulls are in control. Anything else down, the bears are in control. This really does look like a Wyckoff distribution to me. We have this LPS, boom, denied. Then you have this LPS that just happened, denied. It's got to reclaim 69.3-ish, 69.4 for it to have the bullish posture again. Otherwise, depending on, what happens, this is a distribution. If the distribution plays out, you're going to have a massive drop down. And the reason why we bring this up is because you need to understand whether you're trying to make money in crypto or tech. You need to understand when risk on is the play and when risk off is a play. If the war in Iran continues and the posture becomes even stronger and more dangerous, risk off is going to happen. Everyone is going to flee risk off assets. There is no denying that. There's a time and place. If you notice, the trenches are so cold these days, so cold. And there's a reason why, because people aren't really taking risk. People aren't really taking risk. So it really just comes down to what's going to happen. What is going to happen? I guess we'll find out. The resolution will be tonight, I guess. I think he gave a deadline as to, today, 5 p.m. PST. Normally, these type of things are, buy the rumor, sell the news. Unless if you're an insider, you don't know what's going on. So, be prepared. Regardless, though, if you're building an AI, that's great. Just make sure to not really concern yourself. If you have a long-term outlook, though, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you have a long-term outlook, but short-term, it's really at the hands of what's going on in this war. So that's something to think about, And so, like I said, the whole situation is Trump's posting midnight threat that the U.S. may strike Iran. And the reason is, and again, this show too is kind of like to dumb things down because I want to make it so the average normal person understands what's going on in world events, crypto, tech. Because too many people talk to, like, you'd be surprised actually, to a lot of people in the real world, the normies, have no idea what the fuck's going on. All they care about is the latest gossip on reality TV. They're not glued to X like you and I. If you're on YouTube, hello. So we need to explain what's going on. And if you don't know, again, what's going on in the Iran war, why today's a big day for risk on assets like crypto and tech, is because he's given a midnight threat. Trump gave a midnight threat that the U.S. may strike Iran and obliterate their country. And Iran, the whole thing is basically because of the Strait of Hormuz. And this basically controls, 20, 30% of the world's oil. It passes through there. So that's why you've seen oil prices just kind of gone crazy. And the higher the oil, the higher the inflation. The higher the inflation, the Fed can't cut rates. You can't cut rates. Stocks and risk assets take a huge, huge hit. That is the issue at play. So that's why, there's certain aspects that you just can't control. And if, risk assets get hit and you're a builder in consumer crypto, you're going to get hit too, because that means less discretionary money to buy your app, right? Less, more people are concerned about just living. So you want to have an awareness as to what's going on. You just have to. You really, really have to. So yeah, I really don't know what today's what's gonna happen. There's no winners in this, but you come here for macro advice. That's what we're going to give you. But yeah, interesting scenario that we're in right now. Really is. We all want up only days. We do, but nothing else we can talk about that. Really nothing else. All right. So that's what's going to happen right now. Bitcoin's kind of just like in between. And let's see what else is going on with this. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty crazy to me. Literally is crazy to me that the hands of our money is tied to what goes on tonight. Trump warns the whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again if Iran doesn't agree to deal to end the war. Yeah, if that happens, that's just crazy. So all eyes on that. Let's look at some other stuff. What's going on while we wait for Nam? Let's see. Kind of looking at the at what's going on. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my feed is all about AI. I'd be curious to know if people what their stance is right now with AI. Are you building an AI? If you're watching the show, I would love to know what you're doing in AI. I really, really would. So leave a comment below. So let's see what this gentleman says. All right. So Ryan Selkis, he's a crypto guy. He's saying Trump is going to drop the hammer tonight. Markets will tank. He'll resign. Vance gets to pick up the pieces and try to pull things back together for 2028. I don't know, man. Maybe. You know, one of the things that's kind of crazy right now is like, dude, the world's so divided, man. So divided. Like, this is the recipe for like a civil war. Not to fearmonger, but like, such just a crazy time we're in. Really is. And it's kind of scary, man. It really is scary. Oh shit! Look, what's up, Base Junkie? Good to have you back on the stream show. It's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. I'm in my TPPN arc, sir. Got to be consistent. Got to manifest, man. Got to focus. I missed this stuff, man. I missed kind of streaming. Obviously, when the crypto markets are down, you kind of have to evolve, right? If you're just talking about crypto, there's only so much crypto talk you can make, you know? So I was thinking to myself, like, man, what can I do to kind of bring some passion back? And I was like, you know what, let's talk AI, let's talk consumer apps, let's talk, you know, what's going on in the macro that affects money, and build and bring on really cool builders every single episode to talk, to just showcase what they're doing, highlight it. I'm not going to be a show that's going to talk about, you know, 3.5 hours of stuff. Nah, bro. But I can dedicate an hour a day, 4 days a week. Why not? Why not? So Base Junkie, though, anytime you want to come on, sir, obviously, you know, you will have a open invite anytime. So do come on. And shout out to the 172 of you tuning in right now. Yeah, so I don't know. It's one of those things where, you know, I don't know. I'm very bearish, to be honest with you, for the market. The whole year, I've been very, very bearish. And I'll tell you why. Another thing. Maybe some people care about this. Maybe they don't. I believe very much in Chinese zodiac. In the Chinese zodiac, we are in the year of the horse. The year of the horse, 2026 is the year of the horse. And in the Chinese zodiac, there's always an enemy sign. Every, I guess, animal or, you know, in the zodiac has an enemy. And typically in its enemy year, those get hit the hardest. So, case in point, I mean, like I said, take it for what it's worth. The enemy of the horse is the rat. Now, Bitcoin was founded in a rat year, 2008, I believe, the first Genesis block. Let me double check on that. I think the Bitcoin Genesis block. January. Okay, yeah. So Bitcoin's Genesis block was January 3rd, 2009. But in the Chinese zodiac, 2009 zodiac sign start date didn't begin until January 26th. That's when the ox year began. So the year of the rat was up until January 26th, 2009, or January 25th. Which means Bitcoin was founded in a rat year, the enemy of the horse. Now, if we look at what's going down, so right then and there, and like I said, you might not agree with astrology or numerology, but I'll tell you right now, there's a saying by JP Morgan, millionaires don't care about astrology, billionaires do. And I totally believe that. I totally believe the world runs by an elite class that, you know, it's not me, it's not you. Oh, actually, let me send this to Nam. My bad. The guest for the show. I don't even have the stream. 1 second. All right. So anyways, so billionaires care about this. The world's run on it's not run by me. It's not by you. It's run by an elite class. Like, I truly believe it. There's people who, nothing is random, dude. They all know what's going on. They have their agendas. And they use astrology to kind of guide their decisions. So back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was founded in 2009, but that was still during the rat energy, which means that we are in an enemy year. So let's look at past situations as this has happened. 2014. 2014, Bitcoin was in its enemy year. And that was the year Mount Gox happened. The last year of the horse was 2014, and we had Mount Gox. Mount Gox, I believe, at the time took Bitcoin from like $1,100 to $200. That exchange was like the number one exchange at the time. Got wiped clean. And it recovered, yes, but that was the end of the year. So now a lot of the financial crises or things like let me circle back. The last year the horse or rat was 2008. Anything happened during that time frame in the world stage? The housing crisis was in the year of the rat. Let alone, what was another year of the rat? 2020. Was there anything in 2020 that occurred that may have been of significance? Well, I don't know. The pandemic. So we have 2008, the housing collapse. 2020, we have the pandemic, which also then means 2032, there should be something going on, which we don't know about. So things happen in rat years, is what I'm trying to say. But we're in a horse year, and the enemy of the horse is the rat, and the rat might get hit. And so if Bitcoin is created in rat energy, that means it's entering its enemy year, which then means something. Could a 2014 style crash happen for Bitcoin in its enemy year? I think it will. I think it will. There's a lot of people out here commenting, oh, Bitcoin's going to drop to 50, 60, 50, 40K. I actually believe that. I really do. I really, really do. I don't know. Of course, we all want number to go up, but with everything going on in the Middle East and the war, I give more insight into that. I could be wrong. People might number go up forever. That's fine. But yeah, what it means for your money, you just got to be patient. You really got to do is be patient and just see what happens. If the war ends overnight, great. But if it doesn't, it might be a lot of pain. So we will have to see. Other than that, let's go look through. Okay, so now I'm just going to be back on in 12:30. This is good. We'll have him on. I'm really looking forward to this new arc of mine of like really trying to shine the spotlight on builders. I think it's important because let's talk AI now, for instance. Majority of people don't know what's going on. Tech bros know what's going on. You know what's going on if you're watching this. And I think combined with the fact if there is a economic collapse, shortage of oil, which leads to shortage of agriculture, foods, affected, inflation's up, and then you have job cutting. Oh man, I think it's going to be a rough year. And so I always tell people, like, on AI, you have to kind of know what's going on and you have to make yourself irreplaceable. The only way, if you have a job, is to make yourself irreplaceable. Learn AI skills, learn AI tools. Because if you don't, I mean, then you'll get replaced. I think Teddy is, let's see if there's any job stuff. Let's see. Teddy's my EP. Let's see. Let's see. Teddy gives me so much stuff. All right. Yeah, so Teddy just said to me that I think Oracle just had a bunch of layoffs. Let's see when this was. Yeah. So, I mean, look at this. For those, again, who aren't aware, job cuts are not a good time. So, a couple days ago, Oracle is cutting thousands in latest layoff round as company continues to ramp AI spending. Oracle is conducting a round of layoffs. To people familiar with the move told CNBC, the layoffs were in the thousands. The software maker has continued to increase spending on data center infrastructure that can handle AI workloads. That is an issue for people out there. When it comes down to it, job loss, it's only going to expedite it because at the end of the day, companies care about their bottom line, their profit margin, and if they can replace you with an agent or AI, one person who can do the work of 10, they will. Now, what does that mean for you? It means learn the tools, learn the skill sets, learn in your industry, make yourself so productive that they would be misguided to replace you. Those that understand the systems, those that understand what's capable, are going to make themselves valuable. And Oracle, once these people, and Oracle employed 162,000 people as of May 2025, and their stock price is down 25%. If you're one of the thousands, it's going to be tough to find a new job right away because other companies are experiencing layoffs, and everything just adds up. So 2026 is going to be a roller coaster, man. Year of the rat energy going against the year of the horse energy. It's a crazy world we live in. Still can't believe the news again the other day. OpenAI acquires popular tech podcast TPPN. Man, this was crazy, dude. Again, if you guys don't know this, they paid over $100 million. Insane. I think they got acquired for about $1 million. It's very actually, what's the word? Encouraging, inspirational that they came and that they got acquired, because it kind of just shows once again that in the world of AI, building things is not going to be bottleneck anymore. Distribution is. You are going to have a plethora of people build things in a weekend that would have taken years to build. There's no coding requirements anymore. So your imagination is great. There's going to be an abundance of good ideas, good apps, good applications, more than ever before, because the barrier is so low. Now the issue is, how do we get people to care about it? How do we get people to learn about what you're doing, what you're building, get users? At the end of the day, users is all that matters. That is not going to be solved by AI. AI doesn't randomly be like, all right, I got you. Like, now you have your first 1,000 users. So distribution's king, media is king, and individual platforms like TPPN are going to be critical infrastructure going forward. And I do believe, this is why I'm bringing back my stream. Late Night in Base will be home to builders, consumers looking to get exposure and kind of be that bridge between the normal world and the builders. That's the whole point of this show. Because if you're building a product, you need users. And if you're a user, if you're a normal person, you have no idea what's going on. This space is hard to navigate. Hard. I thought crypto was hard to navigate. Man, the tech world is super hard to navigate. I wouldn't even know where to begin. If I'm a realtor, I don't know any AI tools. Like, I don't know what even Salesforce is. Ramp, Plaid, probably won't know that. So we have to be able to create distribution. And I think that's the name of the game. And you should, whether you are a builder with your own distribution, you need to figure out that angle. Those that can create value, create users. I think Kevin O'Leary said it. Or was it Mark Cuban? I don't know. One of those two. Those that can use AI to now create the right social media posts, analyze your competitors, put it on TikTok, give you the data, and you get noticed and acquired, are going to be massive. And I agree. So I think now you're going to start seeing AI companies or utilizing AI agents to help create the template for what kind of success your competitors have and make it so you can post things that directly outweigh them. So you got to use AI to make these things happen. Anyways, long story short, distribution always going to be a king. But back to the news. TPPN Daily Podcast, John Coogan, Jordy Hayes covers tech news and interviews tech leaders, including Zuckerberg, OpenAI. I mean, this is wild, dude. I mean, good for them, dude. Wow. These are some massive players. Here I am interviewing shitcoin founders a year ago. And these guys are, interviewing major heads of tech. This announcement comes amid a broader shift in media consumption as independent podcasts and creator-led videos from Joe Rogan increasingly attract audiences in the tens of millions that can rival legacy media companies. In the announcement, OpenAI CEO wrote that their mission is bringing artificial general intelligence comes with responsibility of a space for constructive conversation about the changes AI creates. He has appeared on TPPN multiple times and is a frequent presence on Medium podcasts, including NBC's Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. The announcement says TPPN will maintain editorial independence and continues to choose its own guests. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. You're not going to really maintain editorial independence. You're never going to say a bad word about OpenAI, and that's cool, bro. Get that bag. That is absolutely cool. I would literally do the same. Hell, if anyone wants to pay me, no, I would say 1/100th of that, which would be $1 million to take me. I'm valued a little bit more than that, I believe. But if you want to talk to me, I'm gladly have you as a sponsor. What a time, man. What a time. Anyways, TPPN is my favorite tech show. Sam Altman did what he did. I think it was very overvalued. I think most people did. But the cool thing is TPPN generated about $5 million in advertising revenue in 2025 and is on track to exceed $30 million this year. That is an awesome number. $5 million in advertising revenue. Wow. That, I mean, regardless of what you want to say, there's money to be had in creating a platform. And if you have the ability to get on camera and speak, you really should. You really should, because there's money to be had. Pretty crazy. Shout out to the 403 people tuning in today. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this new direction. Monday through Thursday. Now I'm just going to be coming up very soon. We're going to like redo everything. We're going to have a new overlay. We're going to have like proper production. No better time than to build in the bear, is my opinion. No better time. All right, let's see what else. What else is there? While we look at some news. Let's see. All right, let's see what else while we wait. Meta. Oh yeah, Matthew Gallagher, this guy. I think this is interesting. There's some FUD about this guy. But basically, where is he? Actually, let's type in Matthew Gallagher. So there's news about this guy, Matthew Gallagher. Let's see. Found this interesting. Again, utilizing AI. This is only possible with AI. Matthew Gallagher is the entrepreneur behind MedV, a telehealth startup that achieved $401 million in revenue in its first year of operations. With a team of 2 people, Gallagher himself and his younger brother, Elliot. In 2026, the company's projected $1.8 billion in revenue, making one of the most remarkable one-person business stories in modern startup history. That is insane. He's the founder and CEO of MedV, a direct-to-consumer telehealth platform specializing in GLP-1 medications, the drugs behind Ozempic and Wegovy. He launched the company with just $20,000 capital. What makes Gallagher's story exceptional isn't the product niche, it's the operational model. From day one, he used AI tools to replace functions that traditionally require dozens of employees: coding, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, marketing, copy, customer service, automation, and back-end operations. The result was a company that scaled to unicorn-level revenue without unicorn-level headcount. Insane. So again, this is a guy who built a 2-person company with only AI. Gallagher used large language models to write the majority of MedV's code base. No engineering team. He used prompts rather than payroll. He automated customer acquisition, marketing, copy, email, paid ad, creative, SEO content. This allowed Gallagher to run multi-channel acquisition campaigns at a fraction of the cost. Insane, dude. You have now people creating billion-dollar companies using nothing but AI. Welcome to the new world. And again, this is now the age of true ability to create whatever you want. And it's really up for you to just do it. Get out there and do it. And one person who is actually doing it, what is going on, my friend? How are we doing today?
Bill, how's it going, man?
Nam, you there, my friend?
Yep. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. What is up, my friend?
Hey, what's up?
Today?
Hey, Bill. Dude, I've seen your journey with Late Night on Base. Saw you launch House. Now I know you're working on Teddy AI, and I'm just getting started on my base journey. So thank you for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming on. Yeah, you have been You have been in the trenches, man. I remember finding out about you when I did the Creator Coin thing on Zora. You were one of my larger holders. And, I've been observing you in the background, and I've just been really kind of impressed by your dedication to building. And we're going to get into what you're building with the non-rewards. But first of all, actually, on a personal note, I actually found it really inspiring about your weight loss journey and how you post those progress. Talk to me about that real quick. Like, what has been pushing you to, I think you were saying you want to do a triathlon or something. What is pushing you to achieve what you're doing in fitness?
Yeah, man. So growing up in high school, I was pretty athletic. I played football. I was in track and field. But then I got into college and started working and just really let myself go. About 2 years ago, I was basically building a small dry cleaning business. It was running by itself, making good money, but I was extremely overweight and feeling super depressed. Eventually, I sold that business and I realized I need to get my body in shape. And that not just affects me physically, but it affects me mentally. So I just started swimming every day, and yeah, man. And I made the triathlon goal because I realized that's like a test of like greatness in a sense, because it's really difficult to accomplish that. So I set a long-term goal. I know I'm nowhere near it, but I want to try to compete in an Ironman triathlon by like 2030.
Oh, dude, much respect to you, man. I mean, like I said, half the battle is just the journey and showing up day in and day out in anything, honestly. Like, for me, I'm like committed to doing a live stream every single day, 4 days a week, going forward for however long it takes to secure my vision of success. And for you, you're going every single day to in your health journey, and that takes dedication, man. I'm sure there's days you don't want to wake up and do those things, but you do it. So I just wanted to start off by saying, well done, dude.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So let's now talk to non-rewards. Okay. So for those that don't know, you said you're in the dry cleaning business, you sold that. Now you're a builder on base, and you're building a consumer application called non-rewards. So why don't you give us, right now we have about 400 plus people tuning in. Why don't you give us the quick, or not the quick, just give us the TLDR. What is non-rewards?
So it's a simple consumer web app available both on iOS and Android, where users upload pictures of their receipts on purchases they make, and after a day, they get tokens straight into their wallet.
So where did this concept come from? I guess let's start with that. Like, you have this idea. How did you start thinking about this?
Yeah, man. So this is this is a pretty long journey. I'll like try to keep it short, but so I started getting into like startups around 2014, and I don't know if you were around that time, but what was popular during 2014 around that time was the concept of the sharing economy, collaborative consumption. And I think it was big around that time because Uber was getting big, TaskRabbit was getting big. And the promise of the sharing economy, the collaborative consumption, was that you can work with people in your local community without having to go through a middleman, right? So what Uber offered was that instead of having to apply and become a driver for a taxi company, you could just hop on this app. You could start giving people rides. And the same for people who want to get rides, right? You could find rides from people who are more people from your local neighborhood rather than professional career drivers, right? And when you like remove the words, I think it's the same as like decentralization, right? It's just the words have evolved over time. But around then, it was more the collaborative consumption, the sharing economy. And I was really into that idea. But then I saw how the products were designed, and I thought it was a bunch of narrative. It was far removed from the truth, right? Because there has to be a bunch of people who want to participate in the sharing economy, who might want to give people rides, but they don't want to go through the process of becoming a driver in Uber. And then, like, for someone who wants to get a ride, what's the cutoff? Like, what if I'm okay with the car that's 11 years old, but Uber doesn't allow cars older than 10 years? Who decides that, right? So when you say, oh, hey, we're removing the middleman, but then you enact these new rules, you're essentially becoming the middleman, right? And when you charge a lot in fees, you're going against the ideals of decentralization. Like, if I get a ride from the to the airport, it will be like $100, and then if I ask the driver how much they're making off that, is usually half of that, right? They're making half the money. And that's like completely against the ideals of sharing economy, right? So I try to build. I wasn't necessarily interested in crypto at first, and I'm very much a laggard. I'm just getting now into crypto, if I'm to be perfectly honest. But I was more interested in like the Web 2 of like, why can't we design products where we allow people to make the decisions for themselves, provide the data so that, hey, if someone offers to give me a ride, but their car's 12 years old, then I just don't have to take it, right? And if someone with the newer car offers it, then they're charging a little more, maybe I'm comfortable with that. Why don't platforms like this exist, right? And essentially, man, if I were to summarize it, I've like launched so many products, went through so many mistakes. And if I were to sum it up, what I learned was that the cost to build the network far exceeds what you can profit from it, because there's also existing competition. So if I were to like give you an example, it's like, think about like you build a house, right? Like earlier today, I was like on Twitter and I was reading, I ran into this tweet by this dude named Kabuto King. Have you heard of him? He's like collecting Kabuto cards. But he like was talking about, he's this dude that collects Pokemon cards, and he was talking about how eBay charges 15%. So why isn't there like a decentralized version that charges less? But there is a decentralized version that charges less, right? It's called House, right? And I don't remember exactly the fees you charge. I think it was like 4%, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So, but like eBay is like 15%. So it's literally 400% higher, right? It's 4 times higher, the fees. So it's like, why don't we create these? But then what happens, whether it's Uber, whether it's eBay, whether it's any local services, once you create the platform, you have to advertise and get people on there, right? Yeah. But then once you advertise and get people on there, unless you're providing a lot of services to make the transaction smooth, like for eBay, you're like guaranteeing what's going to show up is authentic or whatever, right? They have to spend money on these guarantees, and and then for like chargebacks and stuff and it's the same with Uber. They make sure the driver's safe, they're going to show up on time, and if not, you get whatever. And without these uncertainties being eliminated, people don't feel safe. But then you can't provide these services unless you're charging a lot in transaction fees. But if you do all that, you're like no different from any centralized entities, right? So anyway, so I've been trying to figure this out of like decentralized coordination for the longest time. And but then eventually I like gave up, because like what happened was like COVID hit, my business wasn't making money, and I couldn't fund the startup. And then I just started building up my dry cleaning business again, because I just needed to pay my bills. And eventually I got into a long-term relationship with someone. And what I noticed was that every day, every purchase she would make, every time we would go out to eat, she would scan the receipt to try to get points back on this app. And what happens through this app is that every receipt you scan, you get points. And if you accumulate enough points, you can exchange it for gift cards. And this behavior like blew my mind, because like, let's say you saw like a penny or like a nickel on the floor when you're like walking, right? You wouldn't pick that up, because there's so much effort to do that, physical effort, right? But beyond the physical effort, now it's like a mental allocation in your head, right? Now I'm gonna have to do something with that nickel. That nickel is a part of me, right? Maybe I'll put it in the piggy bank, maybe I'll put it in my car cup holder or whatever, right? But now you own that, right? And it's the same if you think about it with the receipt apps, because once you scan and get those points, now the points are part of you, and you have to keep scanning or the points expire. And then you want to just keep seeing the number goes up, and then eventually you get enough to redeem it for a gift card, right? Dude, and then the craziest part was like, she got enough points and she wouldn't even redeem it because that's like the whole point, right? You just like save up enough points and then you can get a gift card. But then she was like, I just like seeing the numbers go up, right?
Some people like that. Number goes up.
Right.
Anything.
And it makes sense. Like when you play games, you try to get some achievements. You like seeing the numbers go up, and right, it feels like you're making progress and building something, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then like so we had like differences in what we wanted for the long term. We broke up. I was like single for a little bit, and then I realized this is it. You know, that idea is it, right? And you recreate that same business model using crypto, right? And people scan the receipts because they want to earn the tokens, but eventually we gain their attention and influence over their purchasing decisions, right? And then over time, we can make business deals with brands and help them push marketing so that they can get more tokens for shopping at that business. And then over time, the idea is that we can expand and then start coupling the marketing with point of sale software so that the businesses that are marketing will have to use our software to transact, to confirm the transactions so that they can mine tokens for themselves. And then over the long term, we can start then coupling the point of sale software with payment gateway so that we can allow token payments at every business. And then once we build the network and data using these software and business models, we can then go back to what I did 10 years ago and then start building local services marketplaces and create decentralized coordination so that people can work with one another without a middleman getting in the way or having to pay 50% in fees.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the fees that is prime for disruption, and I think consumer apps that can kind of, play a part in reducing that are going to be the next iteration of the future. Now, let me ask you this because I know how hard it is building, and I think one of the interesting things about the show is I want to get the perspective of somebody who doesn't come from a consumer app world but is building one. So your case in point, you're living it. What has been some of the hardest things? Because I have the thesis, and I think it's right. In today's era, building things isn't hard. Distribution, getting people to care about it is hard. Getting users, What do you think has been so far the hardest part of your journey building Nom Rewards?
So right now we haven't really started marketing yet, but in general, building a consumer app or marketplace platform is definitely getting the distribution. And I think the reason for that is because if something like if an existing incumbent didn't exist, you can provide enough value. But if there's existing networks, then you're not providing enough value for your platform to be worth it. It's like, why would I use House when there's eBay, right? Yeah, there might be a little more in fees, but then there's a lot more eyes and there's a lot less work in trying to sell something, right? And that's the mistake I made for like the past, 10 plus years. It's the same mistake I see people continue to make. And I think it's something people have to go through themselves to fully understand it. Like for example, why, like even with Farcaster, right? Venture capitalists put a lot of money into Farcaster, but it's hard to compete no matter how much money you have because Twitter already exists. I feel like if Twitter was never invented, then Farcaster is with this decentralized version can succeed. And it's the same with Zora, right? If Instagram never became popular and Zora was the first app, maybe Zora has a chance to succeed. But the difficult part is that when you create something new and then just put a crypto spin on it, you're not providing enough value relative to the existing incumbents due to the network effects.
Well said, man. I think that's the name of the game. I mean, same thing with House. I mean, House was a cool concept, but getting people to care about it's very, very difficult. And I think with the rise of AI, it's going to be difficult for all builders. And that's why I think, the plan is always when you start the marketing to get people to know about it and get people to care. What's on the 6-month roadmap for Nom? What can people, expect going forward? Like, what do you have planned?
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I've been working with the development company. There's been a lot of delays. I think they're a little, they're very well qualified. It's just I feel like they're stretched a little thin because they're working on a lot of products. But we're getting really close. I don't know if you have the test flight invite, but yeah, we're getting really close. All the wallet features are almost there. So basically, in the next few weeks, I'm hoping the next week or two, I'm really pushing them. But what's really delaying is the development rather than anything else. Yeah, but the next week or two, I want to get the token out there. I want to pair it with liquidity, and then I want to start advertising. And I want to try to overcome what I just talked about, right? Because everything I've tried to do before was that, hey, if I create this platform and a lot of people start using it, then it's going to work out. But that's the wrong way to think, because you have to grow, you have to provide value to one user at a time so that you can get to a place where there's a lot of people on your platform, right? So once the wallet features are live and we're generating the 1% fee on all trades, we're going to start a user-generated content advertising on TikTok and just pay people to show them that, hey, just by scanning your receipt, I can get crypto without having to go through KYC, without having to risk my money. I can buy in with my receipts. I can get these tokens. I can look at charts and I can start trading it, right? And they get familiar with the crypto wallets and trading. And the game we're trying to play is that, hey, like the CPM, like for 1,000 views, maybe $10 to $30. If we can even convert, 0.1 to 1% and get each user for around $10 to $30, we think we can win in the long term, because if we can keep them coming back, they're worth far more than that.
Love it. I love it, man. And my last question to you is, why Base? Why'd you choose to come on to Base out of all chains?
Yeah, man. So actually, in the beginning, I didn't even know about the different chains because I'm coming from like the Web 2 world.
Yeah.
So when I started meeting developers and started working with this firm, they actually recommended that I build on Base because there's a lot of traders and liquidity here. And it made sense. In the beginning, I wanted to actually go through Polygon because what I knew was Polymarket. And I knew that, they did batch transactions and cheap transfers. So I wanted to build on Polymarket because the whole thing with what we're doing is that we can bring new users. We're not just trying to target existing crypto users.
Got it, man. Well, I think you made the right choice. I think Base is for builders. There's no shortage of awesome builders like yourself. No, thanks for coming on, man. We wanted to. I think most people would agree that you can tell you're very passionate about what you're building, and you're here for the long run. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with Nom Rewards.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Everyone, that has been Nom. And by the way, Nom, we're going to have 2 clips cut up for you by tomorrow. So you have evergreen content to share. So put it on your socials. And yeah, dude, fucking crush it, bro.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, man. Everyone, that has been Nom. Give him a follow if you haven't done so already. He's on X. And yeah, I just love talking to passionate builders like him who have been thick and thin, who believe in what they're pushing. And again, at the end of the day, if you're building a product, you better give it your all. You better have that passion because the journey of being an entrepreneur is hard. It is hard as fuck. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what stories you read about, someone just like, 10 million or 10,000 MRR or, 100K MMR, or like I got X amount of followers. It's a struggle. And so you better be someone who's willing to face the challenges, but you're up for it. And I know Nom is up for it as I've gotten to know him. So shout out to him, and shout out to the 411 people tuning into Late Night on Base. Today's Tuesday show. I think we're going to end it here. Tune in tomorrow, Monday through Thursday, same time, every single day, Monday through Thursday. We are going to blow this account up, and we are going to work to provide good value to both builders and also consumers to kind of know what's going on, not just in the tech world, crypto, AI, tech, and money. That's what we do here at Late Night on Base. All right, guys, until next time, I'm your boy, Bill the Bull. Catch you tomorrow.